Yesterday, Natalie Elphicke defected, as we said, from the right wing of the Tory party to the Labour Party. I sort of think it's akin to Jeremy Corbyn deciding to join Boris Johnson at one point. Well, I thought we'd start today with a man who has experience of this, former Labour MP who defected from the Tories in 2001, former Cabinet Minister, Northern Ireland Secretary, Shaun Woodward is on Talk Drive. Shaun, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jeremy.
No longer an MP then, my friend. Fill me in. What happened?
No, I stood down in 2015, and you know, I think that being a member of Parliament is not about a career; it's about a vocation. And I felt that I'd given 18 years of my life to that, and it was a wonderful time. But I also felt that it was time to stand down and let somebody else be the Member of Parliament in St Helens.
Shaun, do me a favour and take this the right way. I have a real issue with this Natalie Elphicke thing, if only because I believe that if constituents vote for an MP, whether you like what you... the bottom line is, and I can put this to you as well, St Helens voted you as a Tory MP. You decided, of your own volition, without checking with your party, to cross to the Labour side. How was that met by the people who'd voted for you as a Tory? Did you ask them before you did it?
Well, no, it wasn't actually met by the people in St Helens, Jeremy. Unfortunately, you've got the wrong constituency.
Oh,
I was
there
actually
you go.
in Witney. I was in Witney at the time. And actually, I was elected in 1997 when John Major was the leader of the party. And then some weeks later, William Hague became leader of the party. And as you might think, William Hague and I weren't exactly soulmates. He was on the right of the party. I was on the left of the party. The party under John Major was the kind of party that I perhaps could have continued being in. But under William Hague, he kept making a series of turns which were not ones that I would have wanted to go in. But it was when he refused, when Tony Blair said, we're going to get rid of the horrible Section 28. It was when William Hague said, no, we're going to keep it. It's a wedge issue. It's good for family values. I knew, both as a father and as the deputy chairman of Childline, that it wasn't good for family values. It destroyed families, and young people took their lives. So I found that abhorrent. Before I had a chance to express my view, I was sacked from the front bench of the Tory party. And 3 weeks later, I joined the Labour Party in 1999. And yes, I remained a member of Parliament in Witney. And at the 2001 election, I was elected in St Helens. Now, so your question is, what about the voters of Witney?
Yeah.
Well, I join a long line of people who nearly, I think, without exception, and some very clever viewer in a moment will call you and moan that I got it wrong. But I think more or less without exception, people don't, when they cross the floor, then resign. There's lots of people who ask for
maybe they don't. But that's not the answer, with respect, and I apologise for the Witney and the St Helens thing. The point that I want from you, Shaun, because I'm trying to understand the Natalie Elphicke thing. The Natalie Elphicke story is an extraordinary story. This is a woman who has blatantly slagged off the Labour Party, their inability to sort out immigration. She's called them a chaotic alliance of left-wing weirdos. She has single-handedly, on the right of the Tory party, criticised Keir Starmer consistently. And yet yesterday, as we know, just before Prime Minister's question time, sort of walked across. My question is simply this. How do you live with that, and what about the constituents? So when you did this, did you ask them, did you hold a vote, or did the people of Witney just have to swallow that? I guess that's what I'm desperate to find out. How was it received?
Look, Jeremy, you're an intelligent man. You know that you don't ask the voters what you're going to do before you do something like that.
Well, I don't think you should be able to do it then. That's my point. I don't think you should be able to do it.
No. But that's a different discussion. So let's not make it silly by suggesting that people would do something like go and ask their constituents what they think. If you're going to do that, you'd ask them on everything. You'd ask them about immigration. You'd ask them about taxation.
Could I, without being accused of being silly...
Let me try...
Yeah, but let me just say something.
I'm going to try and answer your question.
OK, but let me say something to you, Shaun. This is really important. One of the big things that a lot of people in this country, you're no longer an MP, are fed up with our members of Parliament is because they seem only nowadays, and this is a criticism that we hear daily, interested in themselves. And you just said, why would you do something silly like ask your constituents? My response would be...
No. Jeremy, you're perverting. Jeremy, you're perverting what I'm saying. I didn't say it would be silly. What I said was every 5 years, or was trying to say, was that every 5 years or slightly less, we have a general election. You actually have to put your name on the ballot paper. and it's you, and you're a member of a party that gets elected. It's not the Labour Party that gets elected. It's the person whose name is on there who is in the party. Now, what I would say to you, and you're making some very good points about how people are sick and tired of politicians in the country. But why doesn't Jeremy Kyle stand and be a member of Parliament? Why don't you do some public service yourself and actually go out there and be a member of Parliament? Because one of the things I would say is it's really easy, whether they're Labour, SNP, Tory, Liberal, whatever your denomination, it's really easy to knock people who've decided to do something, I think, that is actually still rather a noble thing to do.
Okay, so that's the point that I want to raise with you.
But I think one of the reasons that we've got perhaps not always as good a member of Parliament these days there as we might once have had, although I think there's always a danger in that conversation, not as good as it used to be.
It's true, though.
Is that actually we have so knocked being a member of Parliament, and I dare say if we compared it with your salary, I suspect that a member of Parliament earns less than you do. And I say that not because actually I don't think members of Parliament are well paid, but I think you'd be a very good member of Parliament, Jeremy. Well, I think you've got strong views.
Well, I have got strong views,
how to moan.
You've
you
proven
know how to express yourself.
With respect, with 9 years of not being hold on a second. With 9 years of not having been an MP, you are still proving that the inability to answer a question, hear me out when I say this, is there in your mind. I'm not. Listen, you can say, and you might be right, that what you did because of how you felt about Hague was honourable, and I respect you for that. But you have not, in 10 minutes, with respect, answered the question. You jumped on me for words, that's fine. Do you believe, and there's a really serious point to this, you said, I stood, we stand, as MPs, our name's on the ballot, it's not about the party. Which is a really interesting argument, because I also have a major issue, Shaun, with prime ministers who can change, or parties who can change their prime ministers in the middle of an election. Now, by the way, Boris made a lot of mistakes, but Boris Johnson won a majority in 2019. We had him gone, Liz Truss gone, thank goodness. Rishi Sunak seems to be holding on for dear life and is criticised left, right and centre, probably quite rightly. The two are different in your mind then, because it's all right to change a prime minister, but in terms of being an MP, I simply ask you this. If I voted for you as a Conservative, if I voted for you and you don't then like what the Conservative Party are doing, don't I have a right, as I'm paying your salary and I put you there, to have a say if you choose to go somewhere else? That's all I'm saying. I must have a say.
You elected me, Jeremy. Right. You didn't actually elect the party.
So I elected you to make the decisions that you feel are best at that moment.
You elect Shaun Woodward, or you elect Boris Johnson, or you elect Rishi Sunak as your member of Parliament, and they are in whichever party they're in. But you don't elect the party. The party follows the person.
Don't know if I agree with that. Don't know if I agree with that. I think people vote for a party. I think people vote for a party. I mean, look, there are good MPs. But
now, hang on. But one of the reasons I've not been able to answer your question in 10 minutes is you keep stopping me. One of the things that happens in our system at the moment is that we put the name of the person and the party after. Now, Jeremy Kyle, be a member of Parliament, get in there, change the law, make it so that actually you vote for the party, and it doesn't matter who is the person who's next to that party. Why don't you get in there and change the law? Stop moaning about it.
I'm not moaning. Well, actually, I am moaning. We are the official station of moaning. And moaning is good for you.
You are moaning.
Well, I might be moaning, but apparently, according to the Sun newspaper today, page 3, Shaun Woodward, moaning makes you happier. And I'm quite happy to accept that this station is about moaning.
Who's disagreeing with moaning making you happier? I'm not.
Labour, I want to put this to you. We'll disagree on the other. I want to put this to you. Labour yesterday in accepting Natalie Elphicke, this is the other side of the coin, I suspect, from what we know, has upset quite a few hard left people. In fact, on the very day that Natalie Elphicke was welcomed with open arms by Keir Starmer, I can never remember her name. There was a lady done for anti-Semitism, Joy something. She was welcomed back to the party. There are murmurings overnight that many influential figures within the Labour Party are not impressed. I want to put this to you. The Tory chairman today said that the Labour Party is prepared to pander to sectarianism. Do you believe that Starmer, in trying to be this statesman and appeal to core voters and prove that Labour has changed beyond all recognition from the Corbyn years, is, if you like, allowing too many people into his tent so that when and if he does win the election and goes into number 10, he will be at the mercy of too many different factions in his party?
No, I don't. I completely disagree with that. Look, we're moving towards a general election. It's going to happen in the next few months whenever Rishi Sunak finds the courage to call the election. I suspect that the Labour Party will win that election, and I also suspect that probably Keir Starmer will have a majority. Who knows whether it's a large one or a small one. But I think the Labour Party, after its catastrophic defeat in 2019, is now back in a competitive position, and it's most likely to win. To win, we need a lot of people to come and vote for the Tory, not for the Tory party, to vote for the Labour Party.
Oh, you nearly got that wrong.
I did, and I corrected myself. Thank you for pulling out the fact that I corrected myself. Having corrected myself, this is like being cross-examined in the Trump court by one of the lawyers representing Donald Trump. I think I might take that
as a compliment, Shaun Woodward. Can I
well, you should take it as a...
Can I read something from Gary?
You could take Todd... You should take Todd Blanche's place. I mean, you do rather well sitting next to Trump.
Shaun, I think if I do...
have a lot to,
do you know, if I do stand, I think I'm going to have you as my campaign organiser. Gary says Shaun Woodward should have become an independent Conservative if he disagreed so fundamentally with his then-leader, William Hague. He didn't have to join Labour. That was a betrayal of the Conservative voters who put him into office. Your chance to respond. That's what I was trying to say.
Look, people are entitled to their opinion. I had mine. I remained a member of Parliament. I've been elected to be a member of Parliament. And when the returning officer produces the results of the count, he announces that Shaun Woodward is being returned as the member of Parliament for that constituency. I honoured that. Now, listen, if I'd wanted to, of course I could have stood for a by-election. I could also have stood down and left Parliament there and then. I didn't. I wanted to complete the Parliament. I did that. Look, when it comes back, which is your question, from which we've wonderfully detracted and gone on the most wonderful sort of Byzantine tour.
It has been a Byzantine tour, you're right, yeah.
Yeah, I know, but we're both on it now.
Yeah.
Look, I think that Keir Starmer wants as many people to vote Labour at the next election as possible. If Natalie Elphicke has decided to change now until waiting for the general election, well, in which case, fine. What she does have to do is subscribe to the things that the Labour Party puts forward as our policies, and I believe that she must have done that. Otherwise, I can't believe that Keir Starmer wouldn't have would have taken her. So, on the basis of good faith, that she actually says, yes, I will support these policies at the general election, and I believe she's done that. Well, she's decided to come now, not wait another 2, 3, 6 months saying stupid things.
But she's not standing
in order
again.
To keep Richard Sunak in office.
I've thought of a great ending to our Byzantine tour, Shaun Woodward. It's one of the greatest interviews I've ever done.
You're very kind.
The Labour Party that you support, your potential Foreign Secretary David Lammy, has now said that he'll work with a man who I don't think you've much time for, Donald Trump. I'm going to work with Donald Trump, says David Lammy. This is part of my argument about making the tent so large. This is having described Donald Trump as a woman-hating, neo-Nazi, sympathising sociopath, which just finishes with the final question is, if you spread it too far, are you in danger of people not knowing what the hell you stand for as a Labour Party? Final question, if that's OK.
Well, it may be, Jeremy, that you don't know what the Labour Party stands for, but that wasn't clear to me in the local elections last week or in Blackpool South or in any of the opinion polls for the last 18 months, where the country, the voters, ordinary people, not clever people like you in the position that you're in here, just people who want to get on with their life and let members of Parliament do their work for them. They've been saying by about 20 percentage points they prefer Keir Starmer. And I have to say, I think, and I join myself with the general public out there, I prefer Keir Starmer. I would rather this country was run by Keir than I would be by the Conservatives.
I don't want you to think that I disagree with everything you say, but I would say one thing that I think comes patently true from every bit of research. You're right, the job that Keir Starmer's done in the last 4 years has been phenomenal, to have taken the Labour Party from where they were under Jeremy Corbyn. But I think such is the dissatisfaction with the Tory party, Shaun. I don't think the British public have fallen in love with Labour yet. I think that's going to take time. I think a lot of this is about hating the Tories. Shaun Woodward, I'm going to change channels now and give up and defect. What?
One last sentence.
Oh, go on.
One last sentence. Governments always lose elections. Oppositions don't win them. If you look at the history of our politics, you will see that what happens is the country gives up on the government. And that's what's happening here. That's not so unusual.
No, it's not. Are you happy to come back on and do more Byzantine talks in the future, my friend? It's been a pleasure.
I'll go on any journey you want to go to.
Good man. Shaun Woodward. What a lovely man.